That's more like it. $3,771 kilometers. So for this time starts when we go to the services first, and then when it ticks over to a minute we'll start off. So we'll wait until it's 18:21.
Get on with it.
Get the engine started, we just can't move or turn. $18.21, okay.
Turn left.
And we're not going to need the services again because this is
turn
in
left.
time, so we're going to put it on that instead so we can see what's coming up a bit better.
Turn left. Turn right. At the roundabout, take the first exit. Exit now.
But yeah, normally when office hours are normal, when I was commuting regularly, then there wouldn't really be any benefit to driving versus walking public transport anyway. Simply because if I left at the same time, the car drive would be just so congested with traffic. You'd end up spending as much time sitting in your
Keep
car.
right, and then exit right.
Also, I'm almost always exhausted, and that's really not safe for
Exit
driving.
right.
But yeah, to get favourable traffic, you'd have to leave even earlier,
Keep
so I
left.
would have to get up really fucking early. As in, like, 5:20 instead of 5:40. You pretty much have to leave before
Keep
6 o'clock.
left.
Maybe that's a bit extreme, maybe it's not quite so bad these days, I don't know, but... I mean, now it will be very different, but... A few times that my wife was having something to do in town as well, we'd drive in and have breakfast in the morning first, and yeah, it would be pretty miserable even if we left any time before 6:30 basically. You also got the extra cost then of petrol and parking and stuff. And the train costs are actually pretty low. I wonder how far we'll get in this before crashing horrendously. Ride the shoulder for all it's worth.
Keep right, and then exit right.
It's really confusing because there's 2 exits in a row.
Exit right. Keep left.
Could have cut that corner more, but didn't want to get stuck between the truck and the exit. Now there's nowhere to cross the centre line up here, so I have to take the slow way off. In the RTA version of this run, you're on the wrong side of the road at that point. Let's brake conservatively. We don't want to hit the barrier and just flip. Going to the services here would be quite a backtrack. You'd waste time in the emergency call and the drive back. There's certain points in this that if you really need the services, you could warp forward to the next city. It will cost you time compared to how you could drive it, but if you take a lot of damage or something, then it gives you the chance to repair so you don't get engine malfunctions. Of course, the ideal run is you don't take any damage at all, but let's be real here. That ain't happening.
Turn left.
Not without being ultra conservative anyway.
Keep right.
I mean, we don't have to go hell for leather. We can be kind of conservative.
Keep right.
It is a first run after all. Brake so hard my engine switches off. I hate it when that happens.
Turn right.
There doesn't seem to be any setting that governs that. It just kind of yep. See, like I was saying about damage. Went too wide and was going to smack into the traffic light, and they don't move. Kind of winged it.
Right, and then continue
This
straight.
ferry boarding is really annoying because you got to go such a circuitous route to get onto the
Go
boat.
straight, and then turn right. Turn left.
Out of the way. Oh, 29%? You what? Okay. We might have to waste time going to some services sooner than I expected. How the hell did such a minor impact end up with 29% damage? That's absurd. Because the problem is, once you take more than about 15% damage, your truck will struggle and often won't go into 12th gear, which severely limits your top speed. So what we might do is, as soon as we get across to Talon, I'll just service warp out of the ferry.
Okay, let's find a new route. Recomputing.
So we waste 2 hours at this point, basically. Hour 54 just to warp to the services. The time we spend in the services doesn't matter. I don't know what that's done to our route as well. So we actually get a pretty exits behind me, of course. Why would you have me face that way? Okay.
Turn left.
Whatever. So on the grand scheme of things, from the ferry we are closer, but we're not 2 hours closer. Like, this would not have taken us 2 in-game hours to travel if we'd done it ourselves. So that's why the service warps in IGT are not good.
Right.
It's kind of a reset moment, but I'm just going to keep
Turn
going
right.
anyway. It's fine. It's just something I know can be improved.
Keep left.
And then we've got traffic. Do we have a shoulder? Kind of. We'll just skip through here instead. And through this part of the world, we're also going to run out of good roads. EG.
Never mind. I'll find a new route.
4% damage already. So already we're down to just one lane each way. Well, let's just crank up the cruise control so we're not straining my fingers all the time.
Go straight.
There's another service stop up here, but even an RTA that wouldn't be worth it. Also, RTA takes a completely different route than this. Because it maximizes ferry crossings. Okay, gotta remember there's a roundabout up here.
At the roundabout, take the second exit.
And I don't know if it's one that I could just go straight across. No, because it
Exit
dips.
now.
Of course you're going across me, you bastard. Oh, and we're stuck. Are you actually for real? Okay. But yes, if we tried to go across that roundabout, we would crash horrifically. I'm fairly sure, because it dips down for some reason.
Go straight, and then turn left.
Should've just gone on the wrong side of the road there, probably. Yep, traffic merges, but not giving way. Well, we'll just get out of their way anyway. Ah, cock. Ooh, just enough room.
Turn left. Go straight.
Okay, through the town, out the other side. Let's just zoom in a bit on this. We lose context of where we are in the grander scheme of things, but we don't really need it when we're not service warping. I suppose when we're travelling north-south we don't even get all that
Go
much
straight.
warning of other things either, to be fair, because the scale's too far out. Why it's not a square, I don't know. As the old border crossing looks like.
Go straight.
Pretty empty roads through here at least. Famous last words if I ever heard them. Okay, let's just zoom out again. It's got some tight corners coming up. We actually need to explore this area in casual play. I haven't been to about 10 cities in this area. That'll probably be the next thing I do achievement hunting, so that might be tonight. And now we go past Riga. Looks like there might be a bypass, which is nice. Ooh, I thought I was going to hit that barrier there.
Keep left.
Okay, there's some squiggliness up here with exits and stuff.
Keep left.
But not until after this section.
At the roundabout, take
Oh,
the
that's a
first
roundabout. Okay.
Exit now.
Probably didn't need to brake that much, but at least they're a 3-spoker, so the angle
At
is
the roundabout,
a
take the
bit better.
first exit.
I'm gonna guess that there's like a ditch in the middle
Exit
again,
now.
so I'm not gonna try and go through. That's an experiment for another time. The thing with this run is it's such a long run that even if you don't do things perfectly in one spot, hey, I've leveled up. I'm now level 66 from all my free roaming. That's amusing. I'm gonna lose that because I won't be saving it. In fact, I think I've already hit that in my casual game from the Scandinavia exploration.
Fine, never mind. Okay, rerouting.
Cut the corner there a little bit.
Keep right.
But yeah, if you do some sections really good, it balances out
straight.
some that you don't do as well. I mean, we've already made a big screw up earlier. Just gotta shave off whatever minutes we can.
Go straight.
Go straight, you call that straight? The old border crossing again. Into the next one. I assume from Estonia into
Go
Latvia.
straight.
Just gonna slow down a little bit through some of these corners, just in case. I've got to keep reminding myself that I'm just setting a time. I can come back and do this again at some stage and try and do better. But at least there'll be a time on the boards and it'll be a
At the
challenge to
roundabout,
others.
take the first exit. Exit now.
And like most of the times I set, they can then be smashed by someone younger and far more capable.
Go straight. Keep left.
Okay, didn't actually take any damage, that was good. But that was awkward.
Keep left.
Just the one time I have traffic in my way, there's also something coming in the other way. Whoa, what the hell happened there? It just spun. Okay, game please. That was going really fast and all of a sudden just spun out of control. And now we're at 21%, which is really fucking annoying. Because now we'll start getting engine malfunctions and probably not be able to get into 12th gear. Oh no, we're in 12th, good. Oh no, but engine malfunction. What the hell
Go
happened
straight.
there? I'm gonna have to try and take a look at the footage for that. Seemed to be pretty cleanly going past that police car. I don't think I winged it or anything, because it didn't stop.
Keep right.
Maybe just a difference in
Then exit
elevation
right.
meant that I just lost grip for a second? Dunno. That was odd.
Exit right.
So long as I can still keep getting into 12th, that's a good start. And then we'll worry about where we can repair ourselves up a bit later. Ah, cock. That was a bad corner. I mean, I can always check the map for a decent place to see where I'd service
Go
walk to.
straight.
I'd probably go to Kaunas at this point. Yeah, there's a services down there in Kaunas. That's probably like 4 hours or something
Turn left.
of emergency walk. We're just going to put it off as much as we can until maybe we get a service as close to the road that we can just pull into. If we go through a city and pull into the services at some point, then we don't really waste much time because there's time dilation in cities anyway. Ah, but now we're not going into 12th gear, so we cap out at 141. We have to slow down and then speed up again. Hey Tori, welcome, welcome. We are attempting to do something and failing at it. Because the game decided to make me spin out, which is really annoying. And now we're having engine malfunctions.
Go straight.
Actually, let's just check the map. Yeah, so if I warp there, I'm stuck trying to get out.
Let's go.
Bialostok, we go right past the services, but that's a long way to get there. We'll probably be able to warp there from about this point though. We'll just remind ourselves that we want to do this.
Let's do this.
Whatever. We'll probably waste less time being stuck at 141 than we would if we service warped. It's so annoying though. This is really, really annoying part of this game. That when you take a certain amount of damage, you just lose your top gear. And it's really facetious of them. Am I running this or is this casual? This is running, but it's an in-game time run, so there's no need for splits. I mean, theoretically you could do it by splits as well. If you weren't going into the menus or anything at all, then it would end up equivalent. You know, you could still compare your time. Yeah, there's not much point showing a timer. The RTA version of this run takes a very different route. But yeah, I was hoping to not take too much damage, because then I lose my top speed, going like 30 k's an hour slower. But the game decided to have me just spin out uncontrollably and flip at the point. That's a little while back, which made no sense. But that's cool. And it doesn't matter how you take the damage either, like you can just nudge something like that and it all contributes to the same problem. Just kind of lines it up. Like I'm not sure how any of the damage I've taken would have influenced the gearbox, for example.
Keep left.
And these engine malfunctions are really annoying. I mean, what it means is that
Keep
we are
left.
making sure that we can do much better next time. I'm gonna look on the bright side for now, but this should be a cinch to beat. But that doesn't make it any less frustrating at the moment. Especially since I don't know when I'll get the chance to beat it, because this is a long run. I have 2,800 kilometers still to go. Now we're going to do a little test up here actually. So it's 5 o'clock, practically. If I walk from here, we still go back to count us, okay. Wait until my actual GPS pin comes up. Oh, here's the border. That makes sense. Oh, now it's 4:03, of course, because time zones. Ooh, that's gonna screw things up. Now still count us, actually. Interesting. Well, we'll just go off the effective time. There you go, buy lost stock. So 4:10, we'll say. So I'm going to see how long. Oh, I didn't take notice of it. So it'll take 5 hours in-game time to get there. But if we just drive there ourselves from 4:10, we'll see how long it actually takes. Finally had a run stream good enough to submit, then killed in the worst way. You forgot to hatch the cuttlefish. Oh damn. And that's a 20-minute time waste. So is it just like sitting in your locker or something? Yup. Damn. That's why I have a separate split for that. But yeah, you still have to remember to actually put it in the thing.
Go straight.
You have a couple of opportunities of when you could do it. But yeah, you still have to remember to actually do it. It depends on how you're doing your splits as well. Like I do splits just 1 per achievement instead of actually tracking progress at all. Others, like I think Chloe for her one, she was doing different sort of waypoints instead. I prefer just doing it 1 per achievement. Makes it better for the viewers. Though at one point someone asked me to actually put the link in the put the timestamp in the description as well, because it made it easy just to go straight to, like, if they were struggling to find a particular one. I hate it how the engine malfunctions slow you down so much. Okay, we're going to get there and it's going to be like less than an hour in-game time elapsed. So taking the services wastes you like 4 hours, and that's even limping along as we are. Getting good enough time to submit, it'll only be 5th place, but it's something. I mean, next time you'll do better, and it might be better than 5th place. I need to get back into doing some of the proper category runs, but just not been feeling it. My brain has been mush. And now traffic.
Go straight. Keep left, and then turn left.
Okay, so we'll burn a few
Turn
minutes
right.
going into the services.
Okay, let's find a new route.
And out we go again.
Turn left. Go straight.
Maybe I should have a timer up for this just for the sake of it. I can set different splits. Keep track of where I'm going, because it's really hard to keep track of where you are in terms of the in-game clock. Like I left at 6:20 last night, and I have no idea what that even means for the run, so this is annoying corner section. Fifth place is 202.49, fourth is 118, third is 117. Yeah, so you might get fourth. Or third. Or better. Isn't that the one that Ruby brought under an hour or something? Because kid's insane. Shave off about 30 minutes for that? Yeah? You can do it!
Go straight.
Yeah, 57 something? Yeah.
Go straight.
The good thing about an in-game time run is theoretically I could just like pause it and get a drink and stuff and it wouldn't impact the run. But I think I did put something in the rules basically saying that while pauses in menu time isn't counted, it's like that shouldn't be taken advantage of. If someone was to just like spend 10 minutes sitting in the menu and fuck off and do something, they'd probably just reject the run on that basis. Good, someone actually getting out of my way, that's nice. Didn't even notice you didn't hatch him until you walked back from turning the gun off. Ooh, bagger. I can't remember how the run is structured. Oh, for glitch, that's pretty much the last thing you do, isn't it? And then you just build the stuff and blast off. So yeah. Made me decide to start running this. Well, I put a run on the boards way back. I did an American Truck Simulator speed run well before I even ran Subnautica, I think. Maybe just after.
Go straight.
Because I did, but American Truck Simulator was the first game I actually streamed and put a recording of on YouTube. But it wasn't a speed run, it was just casual gameplay. And then after I got into speedrunning Subnautica, I think it must have been that I was reminded of, hey, that's a cool game. Oh yeah, there's speedruns in there. So I did like a 10 delivery speedrun or something. But the categories weren't that exciting. But then more recently when I was streaming just casual play, there was a guy came into stream who's also a fellow Kiwi. And he was saying that excuse me, that they'd been grinding it further and found a different spot for the deliveries and stuff, and mentioned that there was actually a Discord, so he linked me to it, which I'd never even thought about, because when I started speedrunning I didn't use Discord.
Right.
I didn't know really
Then
what it
exit
was,
right.
what it was about. The only reason I used Discord was
Exit right.
I was in a WoW raid at one point and they used it for the raid calls, so I created an account for that and never used it again. But yeah, so he linked me to the actual speedrunning Discord, and I jumped in on that, and there was discussions about possible new categories, different categories like the career mode ones. And then I decided to revisit some of the races in ATS and popped a run on the Euro Truck Simulator, the first one. I was doing some of those runs. They're a bit less cheesy than the modern game ones, because you actually have to do the delivery. Like they're between cities, you can't do a delivery within the same city. Because that's what makes it really cheesy. And then the previous super mod of the series got in contact with me on speedrun.com just through the messaging system and said that he had noticed my activity and probably saw that I was a moderator for Subnautica already, and he handed the control over the series to me. Why am I stuck in 11th again? I haven't even taken that much damage, 2% damage, and I'm stuck in 11th again. Is this just a bug or something? Now I'm in 12. No, now I'm in 11 again. Now I'm in 12. But I shouldn't have to slow down to trigger that. It's so weird. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so doing that, the Welland also put me in as a moderator for American Truck Simulator. I'm not sure whether maybe he couldn't do it on ETS2 or something.
Keep left.
But eventually I found that ETS2 was actually using a different Discord, which is weird. So I joined into that, and I had a bunch of runs. I had about 5 or 6 runs that I'd submitted that no one had gotten around to moderating. So I offered to be a moderator on that board as well. So yeah, bottom line is I rediscovered how fun it is to do some of these races. Also, the fact that we could then add in the career mode, so first truck and trailer, first run, or first to get 100k in garage revenue. So there's a couple of money-based ones as well. They're a bit more kind of true to the game, as opposed to just racing everywhere. But truck racing is also fun. And I mean, aside from the fact that I don't have a trailer on, this is pretty much how I play the game anyway, so it's pretty accurate. Yeah, I don't have moderation powers over the original ETS, but that's fine. Not many people run that. I do want to do a few more runs in that. The controls are really janky and the graphics are bad, but it's still got charm. It's still the old game that I remember playing, have a lot of fond memories of playing. So, still kind of like it. I kind of want to do one of the career mode ones in that, which is actually really hard. It's a much more involved run. The progression in the old game is much better, in my mind, to how they made it in this. In the modern games, they just have it that you just earn XP and you just put points into things as you level up. In the old game, you earned stars based on specific objectives per level, and then each level served as a barrier for certain things. Like I think you could only buy a better truck after you got a higher level. You could only unlock other countries to trade in. That was another thing. You had to basically negotiate to trade in other countries. And you could only do that after leveling up. So there was a lot more bound to it. You couldn't upgrade your truck or anything like that though. So I think a combination of the two would be nice. It was like at a certain point you unlocked doing fragile deliveries, but then you had to make a certain number of them perfectly before you could like level that skill up further. Would be kind of cool. Also traffic. Because as it is, you can level up by just driving around doing nothing. You get, I think, 50 XP per 100 kilometers, so it takes a long time, but if you just drive around, you won't earn any money, but you'll earn a lot of XP. And once you get other drivers to work for you, you don't really need to do anything yourself. That'll be the other interesting thing about this run actually. It'd be fun to see what was my income at this, or what was my bank balance at the start of this run, given that this is based off my casual save. So I have an entire empire of drivers hauling in cash for me.
Keep right. And then
So it'll be
exit
fun
right.
to see how much money I make while doing essentially
Exit
nothing.
right.
Just gallivanting around Europe. I always forget that it narrows at that point. We're back onto some pretty good roads at this point though, so that's nice. Not sure how much I'll be troubled in terms of toll roads. I think I might miss most of them until I get to Italy. And at that point it's fine, because the Italian ones are the ones that you can drive straight through. I think. You don't have to fully stop anyway, put it that way. Cock. Ooh, didn't take any damage. That was lucky. I should have gone on the outside. Thought that I would have been able to sneak past the shoulder. Nearly didn't turn enough. Somehow managed to not bin it. Super narrow road. Oh, was that the off ramp? Yeah, you get that. Now I've got to remember on some of these motorway interchanges up here, there isn't
Go
a
straight.
shoulder on the bridge. This one's okay, looks like. Oh no, see this is one of them here. There's no shoulder on this bridge. So I've just got to weave my way through there. I'm stuck in 11th again. What the actual hell? Now I'm in 12th. I wish I knew what was causing that. Is it just a chance when you get any damage or something stupid like that? Because that's really annoying.
Go straight.
I wish it could be like a Tiptronic, so that it would be automatic but you could still change up and down yourself, so you could force it into top gear. I mean, the absolute ultimate run of this would be just not taking any damage whatsoever, but it's so unrealistic. For me at least.
Keep left, and then continue straight. Go straight.
Here's another one of those annoying roads that doesn't have a shoulder, and there's a truck in the way. Managed to get to the main road just in time, but still had to slow down a lot. The other good thing about getting into being a moderator on the ETS2 boards is being able to add back in the in-game time runs. Because ATS has the distinction between in-game time and real time for the point-to-point races, but Eurotruck didn't. There was mentions on the forums that they had them, but then they were removed, it seems. I think just no one ran them. Which is
Keep
really weird.
left, and then continue straight.
Personally, I prefer them in many ways because you don't have to worry about loading times.
Go straight.
Like with the Edinburgh to London run, every time you service warp, you get a loading screen. Every time you take a ferry, you get a loading screen. So you have something like
Keep
6
right.
loading screens, and that means you could be basically penalized 20 seconds if you don't have a really good loading time.
Exit right.
Like, I don't have this game on an SSD. Can I cut the corner? Yeah. Save those seconds. That'll make all the difference from those times that I couldn't get into 12th. Traffic up ahead. Let's go this way instead. Sweet. That works. Out of my way. Zooming through the countryside. So there is also a section that I've actually moved from the miscellaneous category section, which is you can actually use the console to get rid of the AI drivers apparently, so you can just get rid of all traffic. So then it is no RNG essentially, it is just you. And on the one hand, that would be a lot less frustrating, but it also takes a lot of the excitement out of it. It's much like the idea of running Subnautica on a seeded save. It's like, yeah, you could, but it just feels a bit empty at that point. The moments when you just barely squeak past traffic and manage to just pull off really hairy maneuvers is what really makes it exciting. The times you don't is what makes it really annoying, but oh well. But there weren't all that many runs in that, and since it does make use of the console, which is normally banned, to me that makes it more suitable for the miscellaneous drop down instead of being on the main boards. I don't know, I might figure out how to actually do it. I don't even know how to enable the console in this game, to be honest. I've never even thought about it. I didn't even realize there was one until I started looking at those rules. It's like, no AI? Is that using a mod or something? No, it's just using the console apparently.
Keep right.
The other thing that was postulated that I have actually added to the American Truck Simulator boards, but not the Euro Truck Simulator boards, is a new game mode. So you just start a new game,
right.
ditch the first trailer you get, and use that, and just use whatever truck you get given to race. That would be really reset heavy though, because you'd have to check your schematics of your truck or your diagnostics to check that you've got a good truck. Basically, you've just got to get lucky. But it does at least mean that a completely new player can jump on and race without having to have a level 20 account.
Go straight.
That was not good. It's a much tighter corner than I thought. But hey, we've been getting stuck in 11th even without taking all that much damage, so who knows if that makes any difference whatsoever. Graz is just up here. I could just go off and repair anyway, because while it is a little amount of time, with the time dilation of being in a city, it wouldn't actually be that bad. But currently we're still in 12th. So it probably doesn't matter. Any runs that do allow mods? Not yet. There was a challenge run on the ETS2 boards, which was it was to use a 100-ton trailer mod, but it was like added because someone saw it somewhere, but they never actually figured out where it was, and I can't find it anymore. So the problem with having things based on mods is then you've got to worry about whether or not they become unsupported. And then you might end up having to run a particular version of the game with a particular version of the mod in order for it to still work. And that just starts getting way too conditional. I think the only way to allow mods would be to have it being, if we were to get a category extension board. But I don't think there's enough demand. I am the only active runner of this at the moment that I'm aware of. The other Kiwi guy, dude that's morbid, I haven't seen anything from him recently. I think he's got sidetracked onto other things.
Go straight.
So yeah, there's not really any demand for it. I mean, if someone was to propose something in the forums or on the Discord or something, then maybe. Like, I was thinking that it would be kind of cool to, if we had a category extension board, then one of the first things would be to do stuff with pro mods, since they have such a larger array of towns and cities that you can do things with. The closest I've thought of was, there is a saved game editor that I've used before for achievement hunting to give me specific deliveries from this point to that point, because it allows you to do that. That was annoying. Still in 12th, all good. We wondered that before about when runs allow mods, what if the mod becomes obsolete and no longer works? Exactly. That said, for other games it is much more common to run on like just version 1 of the game. Like Doom Eternal, for example. All of the runs for that will be on version 1, basically, if you want to be competitive, because they patched out so many skips and tricks and stuff. There's a lot of invisible walls have been added in to prevent the out-of-bounds shenanigans and stuff like that. So they will generally run on V1. So the point is that if you develop a mod that runs on that version that people are speedrunning off, and like if it's a mod on Nexus Mods or something, then you can download older versions and stuff if you need to for compatibility. And even in Euro Truck Simulator, for example, the either Truck Simulator game, the earlier versions of the game, there was different methods to how you deliver trailers. So like the 5 delivery and 10 delivery categories are only super competitive if you have an old version of the game, because it allowed you to just drive into the lot and press enter and immediately deliver the load. You didn't have to worry about manually parking it if you didn't want to. You didn't choose it or anything like that. There was no selection screen, they added that later. So that was one big difference when I looked at revisiting those categories. It's like, I can't do that. What are they doing? I can't do what they're doing. And yeah, it's a game version thing. But generally it's not as relevant, and if you want to run any of the DLC, then you can't be on an old version. You certainly have to be on the game version that was around when the DLC was added, I'm fairly sure. And I like running with all the DLC, so... That is another run that I've considered doing. I need to kind of research the route or see if I can think of a better route, and that's all capital cities.
Go
So the
straight.
original version being without any DLC. This is annoying. Okay. I could have just gone down and up again, to be honest. What was I saying? All capital cities, yeah. So in the base game areas, you have to... I think you have to start with a new profile, so that means that you have to reset for a good truck, which is kind of awkward. So that's already a run where you have to do that, which is weird. But basically the point is because you have to discover each city, and if you've already discovered it, then obviously how do you prove it? I don't know, I would have favoured it if it was a case of visit the service pad of each city instead. Because once you get close enough, you can just service warp to the city anyway. But I have also added in other categories, or subcategories for the all capital cities, because originally it was just all capital cities, no DLC. But I've made the no DLC a sub-value, or a subcategory. So there's now all capital cities, no DLC, there's all capital cities plus going east, plus Scandinavia, just plus Italy, and then like all capital cities up to and including Baltic, and then up to and including Black Sea, which is basically all capital cities at this point. Or all DLC. But once Iberia comes out, there'd probably be, you'd do a separate plus Iberia, and then a separate everything up to and including Iberia. I don't know, it gets complicated, and I don't know if anyone will actually run them, but I just kind of didn't like the fact that there was only a no DLC version. Said earlier that the route was 5 hours long. Did I? No? I'm not sure what you mean. You mean way back when I was calling for service or looking at it back in wherever the hell that was? Slovenia or something? Slovakia maybe? I was comparing the time to call service at that point versus the time it took me to get there. That was ages ago. Right after you got on. Yeah, so that was I was just
Keep
comparing
right,
that
and
section.
then exit right.
So, because I'd taken damage essentially from, not quite a
Exit right.
glitch, but that's what it felt like. So I was comparing how long it took me to get to the service station just by driving versus service warping. So it would have taken me 5 hours in-game time to service warp, and it took me less than an hour just to drive there, even limping along at a lower speed. So that was just a bit of science. It's the reason for massive differences between the routes and techniques for in-game time runs versus real-time attack runs. Because in RTA, you just service warp as soon as you possibly can. Like at this point, I would be hitting F7 and warping to Venice, because it would be much quicker than driving there. But because we're going off in-game time, I have no idea how long this run takes overall in terms of real time taken. Which is why I probably should have left up a timer just to find out. Okay, always get so squirrely under the braking. I mean, at the moment I have 1,300 and some odd kilometers still to go. Which, if I'm traveling at 170 odd k's an hour, we get through that pretty quickly. Also, some of that distance is actually ferry. Once we get down to the very bottom of Italy, there is that's a very short ferry actually, come to think of it. Basically, we're driving the entire length of Italy at this point. The point with this particular category, or subcategory, Tampere to Catania. It is the longest point-to-point route that you can do on the current map. The RTA run takes about 50 minutes. So the IGT run takes a little bit longer, because we can't warp everywhere. This is actually getting close to the point that the IGT run merges with the RTA run, at least briefly. Because we'll be driving down the northeastern coast of Italy, which is the way that the new route goes for RTA as well. So slowing down to about 40 k's now means we can drive through there without hitting the barrier. It's just really hard to get down to exactly that sort of speed.
Keep right, and then exit right. Exit right.
So this motorway here is where the real-time run we kind of merge with. The bits that are shared so far has been the stretch from Tampere to Helsinki, at least up to the point that they service warp, and that's it. Now we rejoin for a very brief section. The RTA run does a service warp up here just around the corner at the services, and that takes them down to Bologna. Because the service station in Bologna is the southern side of the city, so it's quite a distance. Like, it's 11:18 real time for me at the moment. It'll be interesting to see what it is when I get to the point at which the RTA run would rejoin. But I'm guessing it saves a good like 2 minutes or something.
Keep right.
Okay, that's not gonna work. And this is one of the really good reasons why in RTA you skip this section, because of intersections like this. Why does my cruise control keep changing? That's weird. So this is the point here that the real-time run joins back on. Basically it saves about a minute or two. And we want to go straight through. Well, actually it joins on up here because it's got to go through the toll booth there. So we're going more than twice the speed limit, so that's great. So while it says like 16, 17 hours in-game time, it'll be like 10 at the most. pretty much at this point up here that you'd normally then warp to Ancona. New bridge going in or something over there. Yeah, it's just through this tunnel here. I'm fairly sure. Actually, no, it's just back further, I think. You can walk down to the Ancona services. Gonna crash early tonight, fair enough. Went to bed at 2:30 last night, but dinner first. Dear. Tory. We were up late last night too, because we got sidetracked on Google Maps, as you do. All because there was a picture of Madison Square Garden on the TV.
Keep left.
Why you naturally woke up at 6:30 this morning, you have no idea. Story of my life. Happens a lot. I often wake up at early hours of the morning needing a drink, so... It's been cold the last few nights. Having the heater on means that I have a dry mouth from it, I think. Don't know, it doesn't make a huge amount of sense, but... seems to be what happens. This is such a really good stretch of motorway. Just being able to go a steady top speed the whole way down is really nice. Kind of flood tidal controls out there. Erosion controls, that's what I'm looking for. Traffic. Up here I think is the point that you warp to Pescara for real time, and then it goes inland over towards Casino and Napoli. We are not doing that in this run, so this is where the paths diverge once again. Also, I have no idea if it's meant to be Pescara or Pescara. Now, do we have that really annoying roundabout in this one? Surely not. This must go straight through. No, this might be... Oh no, there's the off-ramp. Sweet. For real time, there's a really annoying roundabout off to the right that sneaks up on you. And now we just keep on driving. Probably got like 20 minutes of just this. It's not the most scintillating run, but oh well. It's kind of nice though, because at this point it's like the hard part is over. Until you get right close to the end, when you have to negotiate your way to a ferry, and then to get all the way in town at the other end into Catania. Really underestimated how easy row 5 is in bingo? I can't remember what it looks like. I also don't know whether you're meaning that you thought it was really easy but it's not, or you thought it was hard but it's really easy. That was the one you have to build a bunch of vehicle stuff, right? So you just need to build the prawn, the Seamoth, the defense system, and one of the arms or something. Just need to build a propulsion arm and a drill arm, and then the Seamoth defense system. That is pretty easy, but there's a lot of materials to have to gather, so I can see that going either way. Can I get around this guy? Kind of. Sweet. Slalom. Oh hey, corners. I haven't had any of you for a while. Build a prawn, Seamoth, prawn prop cannon, drill arm, purple pine cone, oh yeah. And then, yeah, the defense system, yeah. What was the fifth one? Oh, it was just build a Seamoth, one of them as well, was it? Hello, Ultraviolent
Right.
Sans 9000. Welcome. We've got to negotiate our way off here. Yep. Don't mind the little one. Someone's excited for breakfast. There's a Lamborghini there, because we're in Italy. Brilliant. There we go, screaming through Bari, which hopefully has a nice big overpass that we don't have to stop for anything. I see toll booth roads off to the side, so that seems to be the case. I wonder how much the toll will be once I get to the end of this motorway, because we've been on it for a while. But I don't know, I'll happily pay for use of a road like this. This is really good motorway. Hey, Elaborate. $190 k's an hour? No, 173. The 190 down the bottom is what I've got my cruise control set to, so it just so it doesn't slow me down if I happen to go downhill and go faster than what I am going. The bright red on the right that says 173 is what I'm actually doing, and it's red because I'm speeding. This is a speedrun. There is no timer because it's timed off the in-game time instead of using a real timer. It's good fun. Just going twice the speed limit. This bit is easy, to be honest, because we're just on the motorway. We've got a shoulder to pass, double traffic. We can weave in between traffic most of the time. We're just going max speed the whole time. The corners are really easy. Looks like up here that's going to come to an end. We've got a bit of a back road. The motorway finishes at Taranto, it seems. And then we've got to work our way through to Sicily. So we've had a breather. Now we've got to actually start doing our work again. So we have to slow down to like 40 k's an hour to go through the toll booth. And get around all of this traffic. Thankfully there's 2 lanes in the road. Also we're taking a bit more damage, which I don't really want.
Take the first exit. Exit now.
So hopefully we're getting back onto just as good a road, perhaps, or at least a good road. Even if it's not as good.
At the roundabout, take the first exit. Exit now.
Nice. But I don't carry any trailer? Yeah, that's this type of speedrun is just a race, just a truck race. See you, Tori. Have a good dinner. Good luck with bed. And yeah, hopefully the rest of this run will be okay. I mean, no one has submitted this particular subcategory, so anything I do is going to be a sort of record. We had a bit of a sketchy start. We had a really bad Eastern European section. So there's definite improvements to be made.
Go straight.
But most of the rest of it, once we got into Southern Europe, and especially once we got into Italy and onto these roads, it's been so good. 7:30, yeah, it's late for dinner over there. And then this will probably be the last thing that we do with the stream. So there won't be time for anything else. There's a big viaduct. $7:30 is extremely soon for dinner there. Oh, okay. Well, cultural differences. That's about when we're normally having dinner here. But I know some people do like to have it at like 5:30 or something. The more traditional time to have lunch or to have dinner over here is like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Get ready to turn right.
And I imagine it's similar in the States.
Turn right.
It's kind of a ex-British thing, essentially.
Keep left.
But normally our routine is a bit pushed back, especially since that when I was commuting, I wouldn't get home until like 7 o'clock, so there was no way we were having dinner earlier than that, so... 5:30, 6 o'clock, 5:30 to 6 o'clock, yeah, sorry. No, 5:36, on the dot. Otherwise you're sent to jail. Exactly. Squeak. Well, at least it's still a dual carriageway at this point. So I can, oh god, I hate it when traffic changes into my lane. Whoop. Okay, I guess I'm service warping. I have no idea where that is, but 3 hours and 35 minutes is a small price to pay for being tipped onto your side. That's how quickly it can just literally spiral out of control. All it takes is just one piece of traffic changing into your lane at the wrong time, and it just throws you off completely. So I have no idea where I am. I can only hope that I walked forward and not backwards. Looks like I've gone slightly backwards. Actually, it's hard to say because I will have explored around here previously. I think I did go forwards.
Take the first exit. Exit now.
I have travelled that road before in my casual save, that's why it's gold.
Take the
So...
first exit. Exit now.
Oh, seriously?
Find a new route.
The physics in this game is interesting, to say the least. So we've completely thrown away all our good progress at this point. Okay. Lol. The slightest little touch on a curb will send you completely windabilling. Great physics, guys. Great physics.
Turn right.
Never mind that it's like a 20-ton truck or something.
Go straight.
So I guess we're going to be a little bit more conservative through this roundabout, since it seems to not like me very much.
At the roundabout, take the first exit. Exit now.
There we go. Ah dear. I would hate to think what the time hit on that was. I didn't even see how much it walked me forward in terms of time taken on that last one. I wasn't far, so it might have only been like 40 minutes or something, but... So we're going to chuck the high beams on so we can see what we're doing a bit better.
Right.
But yeah, that is basically how quickly a run can die.
Exit right.
Both in terms of
Keep left.
traffic doing just the wrong thing at just the wrong time, because the AI is quite dumb. Or myself being quite dumb and just clipping the roundabout, and then they are very unforgiving. But like I said when we had issues back in Latvia, just means that this run will be easy to beat. Physics of a truck travelling at that speed would be spectacular too. Oh, absolutely, yeah. The bounce back is replaced with a bunch of metal flight. Yeah, that's right. The point is, because the models don't yield, there's no crumple zone or anything like that. It doesn't absorb the impact. So the response is just to send you flying instead. It's kind of similar to how the collision physics is in Subnautica, when you kind of clip into something. It's a case of these two things cannot exist this close together, so it just fires you out at a great rate of knots, because nothing is flexible. Okay, yeah, we definitely did warp forwards the first time at least. We likely wasted still like 3 or 4 hours in game time. And then however many hours it was the second time as well, but we did at least go forwards, not backwards, so yeah, silver linings and all that. Now we're getting into
Keep left.
urban areas again. Villa San Giovanni. We're supposed to keep left, okay, that's just a service station. Honestly, I probably should have gone through there because it would have been better than trying to sneak past this dude. Which we managed to do anyway. And now we go up to the port. Then we have a very short ferry hop across. Slow down a little bit for this corner through here.
Get ready to turn right.
Fling ourselves around that one.
Turn right, and then continue straight.
Got confused for a second by all of the blocked off bits. It's like an interchange that we don't have full access to.
Go straight, and then turn left. Turn left. Get ready to turn left.
At this part, it's not as
Turn
crucial
left.
to like have a good line through corners and stuff because in-game
right.
time is dilated when you're in an urban area. And now we come into the boat. So getting pretty close now. I reckon it's 2 hours and
Let's
37
find a new route.
in-game time.
Recomputing.
This is Need for Speed but in truck right now. Yep, pretty much. That is basically what these style of speedruns are for this game.
Keep left.
You should see the ones where we actually
Turn
haul
left.
trailers.
Turn left.
The first truck trailer or any of the career-based ones require you actually
Go
hauling
straight.
trailers and still speeding at high rate of
Keep
knots.
right,
So
and then turn right.
you'll be doing 150 k's an hour with the trailer
Turn right.
and still weaving between traffic and driving on the
Go
shoulder.
straight.
Traffic. Darn. Should have got on the wrong side of the road instead. Is there a shoulder? There is. Good.
Go straight.
Catania. This way. Just lost a few hours, some seconds more on a traffic light won't hurt? No. Not allowed. Yeah, it doesn't matter nearly as much in in-game time runs as it does in real-time runs, at least. In real-time runs, anytime you get hit with traffic lights, it's just, oh god, I'm just losing seconds. But in in-game time, the most you'll lose is like an in-game minute or something. I mean, it can be a difference between first and second place, right? So, but currently there is no first or second place in this category, so we're not that worried. It's just minor annoyance. The ultimate goal with a run like this would be to make it with taking no damage whatsoever. Or just very light damage, like maybe you bump into a couple of things, but you don't take more than 10% or something. And it's certainly always better to just slow down a little bit at various points, rather than risk crashing and having to lose several hours in-game time going to the services. There's like 2 places where a service station is naturally close to the road that you could just go in normally and repair up if you needed to. But obviously, ideally, you still wouldn't. But the most you'd lose is a few minutes in game time doing that.
Keep right, and then exit right.
In real-time runs, you are warping to service stations a lot, so you can actually just hit enter when you get there and repair up. But
Exit
it
right.
wastes like 5 seconds or something. But it could save you more than that if you are in the realm of suffering engine malfunctions, because they will kill your speed. But as soon as you're trying to post competitive times, then you just have to not
At
crash.
the roundabout, take the first exit. Exit now.
He says crashing. But only lightly winging a car. And here's the service stop,
Finally, we are here.
which we missed the entrance for. They have to do quite a sharp turn to get to the service bit anyway. So 320, 321. Done.